So Mount Cardigan is a fairly popular backcountry spot in New Hampshire. I think most people have probably heard of it. It's in David Goodman's book, and it's one of the few places that isn't further north that really has a open summit without trees, which is nice. So in this video, I basically am combining footage from two different trips I took to Cardigan this season. One day where I skied the Duke ski trail up to Firescrew Mountain, and the other time where I actually summited Cardigan, skied down the Alexandria Trail, and then skinned up the Kimball Trail in kind of a nice little loop. So that's kind of what this video is going to cover. It is a really fun tour, particularly when the weather is nice, and we did have some good snow this year. So yeah, this is kind of what we'll see in this video here. All ski tours on Mount Cardigan will start around the Cardigan Lodge, which is down at the end of the Shem Valley Road. People say it's about 2 hours from Boston. In reality, I think it's a bit longer, probably more like 2 hours, 20 minutes, because these are very rural roads and you kind of have to wind a long way from I-93 to get there. But in any case, you start all tours there. Then at a certain point, the Duke ski trail does diverge off to the right of this cluster of trails. So in this case, this first tour, I basically just follow the Duke ski trail all the way up. And then, yeah, basically just follow that until it re-intersects the Manning Trail. And then you can apparently go on the Manning Trail to the summit, but this isn't really a ski trail at that point. So I actually turned around right a little bit after the intersection of the Duke ski trail and the Manning trail, just because I think it would have been pretty gnarly to try to ski down that, since it wasn't really cut out as a ski trail. But that's kind of the first route I basically did. Here on the Cardigan, Mount Cardigan, I skinned up the Duke ski trail. Connected to Manning, I was planning on skiing from the summit, but actually, particularly in these conditions, I think, since it's getting late, this upper line through the trees looks gnarly. So I'm just going to transition a bit below here. I actually don't think most people ski off of the summit of Firescrew. Very narrow here. Okay. I think we're out of the worst stuff. Okay, so this should actually be fun. Should have just started there. Done up to here. Drop anything. Good. I'm not going to want to take it back up here. Becker, stay. Becker, do not get on my foot. My tails. Okay. I wonder what happens if we traverse that. Yeah. So a lot of the Duke ski trail is pretty moderately pitched. It's never, I think, gets above 20 or so degrees, which is pretty flattish for me at least. But it is kind of a fun trail to go down, particularly if things are like icier on the other side, or you just want something fairly mellow. And as you'll kind of see in this video, it lasts about a mile. There were a couple down trees and some other small obstacles, but in general, this day the skiing was pretty good. Kind of snow was actually on the wetter side, and yeah, me and Duchess definitely had a fun time kind of skiing down and her running behind me. So the Alexandria ski trail, which I'll show in the next section, is a bit steeper in places. I think that gets up to like 27-ish degrees or 28. Nothing really that steep on either trail. Off of the summit of Alexandria, which I'll go over later, there are some spots where I think you could hit in the 30s. I mean the summit of Cardigan rather. But in any case, yeah. Both fun trails.
Right up there, Loney. Oh, oh. Oh, that's where my legs are getting tired. Oh, this is a fun one. Yeah, this looks fun. Let's drop in. Oh, except for that side. Oh God, my legs are dead. They are dead. I don't know if I should have done more squats pre-season, or I thought I did a lot. This was packed the shit out of them. And we're in season. get some speed. I don't want to be walking or waddling too far.
So for my second tour, I basically again started at the same place, down on the road near the Cardigan Lodge. Then basically continued up straight, again past the Duke Ski Trail, past Manning, just along the Holt Trail until I came to this junction. And then I think this is technically I think the Clark Trail. Yeah, you go up the Clark Trail, um, and then you keep following that basically all the way to the summit of Cardigan. On the day we went up, it was a little bare at the very top, so I did the final thing just hiking up to the summit. But other than that, it was a really nice day, and it is cool to be above tree line on the East Coast. So that did kind of almost have a Western style feel. Anyways, from the summit, basically then come back this way. I think it would, in theory, be possible, and I bet someone who's done it has skied off the backside. This is a bit steeper and is where the Holt Trail generally goes up. And it actually looked pretty good, but that area is clearly, I think, avalanche terrain and probably quite steep in some places. But I definitely think it would be doable if you had the right snowpack. Anyways, just continuing back down the Clark Trail. You take that until you re-intersect Alexandria. Then once you get back to this junction, you have kind of a choice. And you can either just re-follow the Holt Trail. There's also this Bailey Brook Ski Trail, which is like a really short thing just on this side of the brook. I chose, though, to do basically the Kimball Trail. I think it only added another, like, maybe 300 feet of vertical and gave me kind of a much more continuous descent going back. So that kind of formed a nice little loop.
And the little dog are about a little more than a mile in, finally at the junction. So we're probably gonna go up the Clark Trail, come down the Alexandria Trail, and then finish with one last skin up and then down the Kimball Trail, and also of course get to the summit. So this is a bit of Mt Cardigan. Almost to the summit of the Duchess owner. Isn't far now. Whoa. That's good shit, little doctor. Oh shit. Classic thing, takes hours to climb up. Down in like 20 seconds. Watch it stay. Oh shit. I need you up there. How much speed will I get there? Let's see. Probably more than I want. Probably ride it out though. That was more than I thought. It's actually pretty scratchy right there. And it's tight too. It's tight here. Pretty tight to make a place to make your turns. Ugh. Yeah, it's just like a little tight. Particularly with Duchess here, it's hard. Good chunk of the way down. We're just gonna be very mellow through here. Tony Patoni. Oh. Oh. Okay, let's go nice and slow. Snow is so sick. In our little loop, we're at the top of the Kimball Trail now, right at the summit of whatever the sub-peak is. So, yeah, top of Kimball Trail, the summit. Yeah. Wait up though, Doctor. Where does it go? Oh, I think it's around here. There's just a lot of fallen trees. Yeah, I guess it's just there. Doctor, wait. Doctor, wait.
So this is a good
Looking
reminder
back on my
actually
trip,
not to carry too much
I
speed in
literally
the
found a
backcountry,
secret.
because as you see here, I basically hit a little bump, and I normally would have recovered fine, but basically on my left, when I went to transfer my weight to my outside ski, that side of the trail had a little undermined snow by a brook as it was melting out, so I fell right through. Inbounds, like hazards like this, are usually clearly marked, but in the backcountry, you're on your own, and the snow bridge clearly wasn't actually enough to support my weight, which is why I fell through. Luckily, Baruch Hashem, both my bindings released exactly how they were supposed to, and I kind of flew just into the soft snow on the side, so I was fine. But it is a good reminder to ski slower and more carefully in the backcountry, and also get your bindings checked. In any case, I hope you enjoyed watching. It was definitely a very fun day touring, or fun actually 2 days touring. And yeah, I have some other interesting videos planned about other parts of Massachusetts, some of my things on Mount Washington, and maybe also some resort skiing.